The big question, of course, how long can this bull run really last? Alger's Ankur Crawford. I mentioned she is here at Post 9 with me. There she is. What's the answer? I mean, the market doesn't seem to want to go down.
Yeah, and in part it doesn't want to go down because the numbers for 2024 are moving up. As we go through this earnings season, the 245 that the street has for S&P earnings in 2024 likely moves higher. The multiple moves higher as the numbers move higher.
I've heard from some people this week that the bear story's old. It's tired. It's like yesterday's story, right? We've sort of turned the page. You believe that?
I think that we have to take a hard landing scenario off the table, and in part, as we approach 2024, it becomes more difficult for us to believe in a downward trajectory to earnings. So if you look at, a lot of the tech earnings, for example, we've troughed, and now we're starting to reaccelerate and grow again. That is a very different scenario than where we entered the year, where everyone thought earnings were just going to fall off a cliff and go to 180 on the S&P.
The problem with that is that multiples have expanded. PEs have gotten richer in that period of time that you cite. We're not too expensive on some of those tech names now? Because that's the criticism and the pushback you get is like, yes, these are the places to be, and for good reason. But now they're just too rich.
Yeah, and I would remind you, NVIDIA has always looked rich. At 150, it looked rich. At 300, it looked rich. At 460, it looks rich. And the numbers have followed suit. So the stocks went up before the numbers went up. And so I think we're going to see that kind of revision again with Microsoft, with Meta. The numbers will go up. So the multiples will then look cheaper than they are today.
To those who say it's too soon to say all clear, what's your response to that? Because there are a number of notes that have come out and said, OK, the path to a soft landing might be wider. The time for a recession may be further, but it's still hanging out there. And it's way too soon to say everything's just great again.
Yeah, look, I don't think anyone can sound the all clear signal. But we are coming to a point in time in 2024 where there's a lot of government stimulus that's coming in, whether it's a CHIPS Act, the Jobs Act. And I know this is a bit trite for every day people are talking about Gen AI. The impact that Gen AI is going to have on the economy will start to bear fruit. I think in 2024, mega cap techs are going to take up their capex numbers, which will have a kind of a velocity in the economy that I think will be surprising.
Overall for earnings for tech, do you think the bar is higher for NVIDIA? I'm going on stocks that you like and I know that you own. NVIDIA, Meta, Microsoft. Now, NVIDIA's up a ton. Meta's up a ton. Microsoft's not exactly up a ton, but it's up a lot. So theoretically, the bar for all three would be kind of high. Who do you think is the highest?
Look, I think that the bar is high going into this earnings season. Do I expect that, the stocks can be up 10, 20% off earnings? Probably not.
That's what we said before NVIDIA reported last time, right? Look what happened after that.
That's right. And I don't think there's another number revision up that for any of these names that is that significant in any one quarter. But I would focus on where the 24 numbers are going for each of these companies. And as long as that keeps rising, it will support the stocks.
As long as rates don't rise as well, right? I mean, do you think that's part of the story here? That, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, we're talking about the 10-year at 4%, and now we're below 380 the last I looked. I think it was something like 378. So rates have come back down again. How critical is that to your tech story?
I think rates stabilizing is more crucial to the duration and buying duration story versus, we went from 0% Fed funds rate to 5.5%, 5.25%. That was a bigger impact to the duration on names than I think what the 10-year is doing in the near term.